Let
Good.
me share my screen then. Cool. All right. Boss of the sock. A little bit of what Splunk is. It is a log management system. It's actually a pretty neat log management system. Uh, it has a free version that doesn't do a lot. Uh, the paid one is expensive, but it definitely works really well for what it does. The other free versions are like Logarithm and the Elk Stack, but Splunk is definitely the leader when it comes to taking logs from any system and converting it all into one place where you just search. So think of it kind of like the Google of searching for logs. So to begin with, we're gonna, just like with everything else, we're going to do rather than just talk about. So you can connect to either splunk.samsclass.info or splunk2.samclass.info. This is because we're using the free version, so there's a limited number of connections per system. So jump on either or, and then log in as your username student1 with password student1. So jump on either or, either splunk.samsclass.info or splunk2.samclass.info. And you should be given a prompt, and you'll log in as student1 with password student1. So here is the Splunk home. The search and reporting is pretty much where we're going to spend our time, mostly using the search portion to get information out to find the answers to the many questions that we have before us. If you click on Splunk Enterprise itself, it'll take you to the launcher home where you can kind of see more or less what the network that we're working on looks like. Down here, you have the threat picture, so you kind of have a visual of what the network looks like for this event. So going back to search, which is where we'll spend most of our time, the first thing to do is we need a search query. So the way that Splunk works is it takes every device or every system that it's taking logs from and makes an index of them. So in this case, we're running a index search for bots v1. Because this event happened a while ago, we're going to switch the time to all time. And we also want to do a sampling so that it doesn't take too long to pull all the records and show us some results. So once again, in order to do your first search, we have to define what we're going to search from what index, or what, if this was a like a Mac, we would search by the name of the Mac. If it was a router, we would search by the name of the router, so on and so forth. In this case, we're going for bots v1. We're changing the time on the right to all time, and we're going to take a sample of 1 to 100. When you hit enter or the green button to the right, you see Splunk providing you information. This is where Splunk starts to shine. You have fields for practically everything that it's spotted. You scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. There's quite the number of items that you can use. There's actually more. Plus these fields, you have 538 more fields that you can parse this information. In front of you, you see 50 events per page. Now, while we could look at this all day and look at all the nitty gritty, we can continue to use the search to narrow down what we're looking for. So for example, if we wanted to see anything that was HTTP, so like in Wireshark, we would just type HTTP in the display filter. Here, we'll type source type and then equals. We'll do the quotes and say stream HTTP. And then we'll hit enter. Now our results will shrink even further and give us everything that was HTTP related that it found in all time. And you see the graph of when the events happened. You see more fields that are related to what we just put up here in our search. And again, we see 50 per page for everything that is streamed HTTP. Is anyone behind, or everyone still with me? Looking for the nodding heads or a response in the chat.
I have a question.
Yes.
So if you could tell us like a life experience that you would use the Splunk on.
You could use it as a reactive or proactive system. So if I am, if I want to see what computer is using up a lot of the bandwidth, I could use Splunk to see where they've been. If I wanted to do a forensics investigation because I have all my systems sending their logs to Splunk, then I could start searching for events that happen from this time to this time. If I need to record events that are happening, Splunk is the best to do that.
So Irvin, I think I'm actually really qualified to answer this question because I use Splunk all the time at my work. So just a little background. I do kind of a little bit of everything, including incident response, and Splunk is my go-to product when doing incident response. That's the first thing I go to. Because essentially what Splunk does, it's Google for all the logs on all your systems. So if you're trying to figure out what went through the firewall, what happened at this time, what happened, what other traffic was going in and out, I can go into Splunk and essentially Google what was going on with the entire network. It is amazing. And it is probably the most important blue team tool you will have under your belt.
And they've really become the industry leader so far as it goes. There are other solutions that you can use, but those range from terrible in some cases for companies that won't be mentioned to they work well, but they take a ton of configuration and some real specialized knowledge to get them up and running. Splunk is awesome because, you know, as I'm sure Caitlin would attest, you can get it going right away.
I'll just mention it's also very expensive, but it is so luxurious that I think all of the Fortune 100 companies use it. It turns out that it's worth the high price you pay.
Right. And I think a lot of that is that they have really excellent support.
Yeah, they do. So continuing with our demonstration, we are indexing bots v1. That is our source. We're looking directly at any HTTP streams. We can add a site, like I'm really not Batman.com. And now we filter from that index, bots v1, we take any HTTP streams for this website. And we have 208 events that are tied to that site. That's the basic format of using Splunk. So I found 2 PDFs that you can use as references. They are sitting, actually, I don't need to reshare my screen. Right next to 1.5, there is this cheat sheet and command cheat sheet that you guys can use to help you answer the questions in bots of the SOC. So for example, anything that's miscellaneous, you can pipe the commands and it'll pipe from one event to the next, you can add items in your search. For example, if you're searching for any 404 events, you can do something like this, where you pipe and then append search 404. You can do any conversions that are necessary. You can filter based on fields. You could also, if you don't know how to do that, you could also, let's say, click on these items here and say, okay, if I go by day and day, I could, by sorting by that, I'll have one value and it'll add it, as you see up here, it'll add it to the search. So you don't necessarily have to know what to type up here. You could use these selected fields to understand what you can do in minimizing the information to get to the answer you're looking for, which is great, especially for people who are starting for the first time. This may be overwhelming. Well, you don't need to know all these items. You can click around and explore a bit how you can manipulate the data to get what you're looking for to answer the questions. And if something like this isn't what you're looking for, you just remove it and research. There's also another cheat sheet that you can use to help, but like I said, if this feels a little too much, don't worry about it. You can find the answers to the questions just by simply looking at the fields and seeing the information that's provided. Where is it? Okay, so I scroll on down. Your first question is to find the brand name of the vulnerability scanner that is covered here in green. So using everything that I gave you so far, the index, the source type, and the website, that should bring you close enough that you could find this information. You could also see what is provided here and see if you can find the appropriate field and click on that and filter down even further to find this exact event. Then you'll find the attacker's IP address, which again, there is a section for IP addresses. It's just a matter of either you can type it up here, you could click on it here. You can find the web server, the IP address of the web server, probably just by looking at these events. You'll see what that address is. And I may just be giving the answer away right there. Then you'll find the name of a file used to deface the web server with 2 hints provided here. And then you find the fully qualified domain name. So for the next couple of minutes, if you are working with us, let's solve these first 5.
Yeah, Irvin, I think it might be worth just demonstrating how to get those. I can do it if you like, or you can do it, but I find I usually just give those away to get them started.
Okay. So finding the brand name of the vulnerability. So we have these items already in our search. We're looking for some obvious URL attacks. It's already there, such as any directory traversal. Right. So that's kind of the neatness of this tool is some of this information will readily be available to you to see just by scrolling around after you brought down you've narrowed down your focus. So it looks like it might be this one. Apple WebKit. It starts with an A. Yeah, I don't see transversal, but I do see an item with A in this event that happened on 8/10/16 at 3:22 p.m. Actually, wait, is that the one that had the? No.
Yeah, you can see it there. It's got it in the request.
Yeah.
Just scroll up a little. Up right there.
Yep. So there's the first one. Then we need to find the attacker's IP address. So where is this guy coming from? Well, we have an IP address that's outside that comes with this, pointing to this destination. I believe, yeah. This would make sense that this is the answer since that's where this guy's coming from. Our next question, find the IP address of the web server serving I'mNotReallyBatman.com. Well, if a system is posting to the site, then it should be pointing to that destination. And it looks like the answer to us again is in this very same event. So you knocked out so far 3 of the questions in one event. Next, we need to find the file name, the name of the file used to deface the web server. So it was downloaded by the web server. So the server's IP is the client address, not the destination. And we're looking, move the filter to see all 9 such events. So this address should not be here. It should be up in the CIP. So we might just be able to go CIP equals 192.168.250.70. Did I get the IP address wrong? Thought I did.
No,
why
no,
don't you just why don't you just search
but
for
you
that
get
IP?
rid of the filtering. Yeah,
Yeah, sampling. Got to turn off sampling.
you're on it.
Yeah, sampling 1 to 100. So we are looking for the file name that was used to deface. So,
So Irvin, I noticed you got 1,000 1,241 results. And you can go through them one by one, but we might want to redo our search to make things a little more tight.
Yeah, you need stream HTTP, and you need to make the client IP equal to that. Source equals stream.
Right.
Yeah.
Stream HTTP.
You need CIP equals 192.168.
Now, does it take it?
And also make sure to turn off all sampling.
There we go. Down to 9 events. So can we find the file that was used to deface? So let me put this in the chat just in case you're trying to type it and I scrolled away too fast. So you guys see the file that was used to deface the site? Because that looks lovely.
That looks like an uploaded JPEG image. I see it, Irvin, scroll up.
Excellent.
There you go.
It's in that one, and it's also in the next one.
Yep.
So you kind of have an idea of how you use this.
So do you see above password, just 2 lines above where it says password equals you? Do you see where the file name is?
Charlize says she saw it.
So move your mouse pointer down 3 lines, up 2 lines. There you go, it's in that line. 1 line down. There you go. Somewhere in that line.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, so I mean, that'll get you started. And there's a bunch more challenges there where you find ransomware and an infected USB stick and so on.
And it's the same way. It's the same way. It's using these selected fields, using the information and any hints provided. So you're minimizing the event. You're searching down to what you're looking for.
But this is why people pay so much money. There were 1 million events, and you just found the 9 that went backwards very fast. So you can very quickly find a bad action amid a giant pile of innocent events.
Right. Without having to grep all day or just be stuck in a pile of logs.
Yeah, I guess I'll stop the recording.